Good morning. Every day, every night, you open up, you unveil yourself to a changing world. A world that was quite different from what you saw when you embraced sleep quite a few hours before. And it's about the new day. And when you see something new, when you feel something new, sorry, when you see something new, when you feel something new, it's about how you get used to it or your willingness to get used to it. Two options: face it or run away. It's about people who decided to run with it or run for it, who told us stories. It may be a distorted version of someone who won. Still, it's them who told the story. That's how history stays, and that's how it will stay. The stories of conquest, the stories of desire, they go hand in hand. Still, it is these lust for new, for being fresh, to remain fresh, to gain hold, the fresh, is that motivates man. And that is what economics is all about. It's about staying relevant. It's not a science that experiments. It's but a science that goes through these experiments. There's no fixed notions, fixed theories that you have to prove the world. Less tedious in that sense, economics, compared to science, pure science. But still, it is something that you have to experience. And this experience is what you call experiment. As you say, the conquest of sea waters, decolonization post Second World War, all these are endeavors, all these are decisions taken when a new world arrived. Unwilling or willing, it is how you accept that change. Even if you don't expect it, you have to accept it, that you must be flexible and willing to change. It is this willingness to realize that you have to change is what motivates life and is what makes life a pragmatic affair. As we mentioned in many other columns, colonialization and decolonialization both happened when resources, either you wanted resources, either you possessed resources, either you lost resources. And that is where the post Second World War world, now on the brink of an explosion. It's a new order with more stakeholders, more players, more free players. Although wealth, power, clout, was with a minuscule group, still there is more wars. And that is where we start the possibilities. We have to start analyzing the possibilities of Kerala. It's a new world order. It's wars. It's global equations. The players involved in these wars have a lot at stake. And when that happens, the world is a lot at stake. They are big players. And to ignore that wars is a disservice to self-reliance. Because whether it's Russia, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Israel, they are suppliers of one or the other things. It could be the technical equipment, it could be wheat, it could be oil. And Kerala, just like India, is on that side of significance, geographical significance. It is this geographical significance that we will symbolize. Kerala probably is one of the most socially progressive society in India and one of the most least self-independent social democracies in the world. And that is that is where we start our issue. Just like this war is going on, just like this political instability is coming out, just like the crisis of the demographic dividend, the China, Japan being on the wrong side of demographic dividend, you realize that there is something is there. It's up for the grabs. You have opportunities. First thing is Bangladesh. You can talk about the effect of it on exports from India, but at the same time, you see that the cloth export of Bangladesh, what a big market it is, and how that rejuvenated a society. You also see that the banking, the Grameen banking in Bangladesh, how that triggered a social revolution. And when you see that, you come to realize the Qadis, the cooperative banks, the coir industry, the other household industries in Kerala. You see about this, the rich lake food. You realize that there are opportunities that need to be tapped. Even if it is tapped, they are not up to the mark. So you realize there is opportunity. It is the same thing with Japan and China. They create technology that use the least space, the least time. But as we said before, being at the wrong side of demographic dividend, they are planning something new, something fresh, something very drastic. And in the case of China, they are on the bottom of democratic rights. So you see that there is opportunities coming up. And when you analyze that, you on the side of it, you see an intervention from the Supreme Court regarding the rights that must be conferred to states regarding the use of critical minerals. There you get some new ideas. You find that there is some opportunities coming up. The critical minerals that is critical to electronic equipments, electronic gadgets. And when you possess that, and when you see that the issues happening in Japan and China, you find that there is something not fishy, very, very bright, very, very colorful. It's about the opportunities. You have talked about electronic repairments, electronic repair segment, electronic reuse segment, where we talk about how job, nature can go hand in hand. And then you talk about the present state of migration. It's on the decline. It will be on the decline, and it would probably come to. It has peaked to an extent. So, what that means? Kerala is both a victim and beneficiary of migration. The migration for jobs, for education, has reached a new proportion where the education system in Kerala, the education scenario in Kerala is badly in need of experts. So, you see, you want to retain people, and there is a possibility that you can easily retain them provided the present state of or the evolving scenario in migration. So, what that means is that you have to improve your educational and job scenario to accommodate all these people. And when you accommodate all these people, you need to have space. And that space is where we are talking about land usage. A state known for tourism potential, a state known for a balanced climate, that's not the issue, that's not the state scenario anymore. So, you must evolve a green economics where you realize that you can accommodate all these people in a way where there is more space, more color, and more substance in nature, rather for nature. So these are all opportunities. You see Virinyam, you see the industrial hub coming up in Kanjikode, you see the Shabari rail project. When you think of all these things, you find an economy that goes along with it, where you see from lab meat to artificial diamonds to educational system to food processing to logistics to electronic repair segment. How you can boost all these things where the ultimate aim of self-reliance can be attained? Because the spending saving pattern around the globe is changing. Whether it's the case of mutual funds, whether it's the issue of the real estate opportunities in Greece, you realize that the way you spend, the way you save, the way you invest is changing. People are willing to spend, save, and invest anywhere and anything and on anything. So, you are analyzing all these things. And you are talking about international relations. There is Africa there. The turbulence is bringing down Africa again. And when that is happening, you find opportunities where both mutually benefit. It could be the cultural exchange where you make them more comfortable, where you make them feel that we are your sisters and brothers, a more compassionate, soft democracy. Along with that, the problems in the cocoa industry in Africa that do bring opportunities. There is Amul, there is Kudubasri. So you find that chocolates, ice cream parlors, there is opportunities coming up. And that is where you find opportunities. As we told before, artificial diamonds, artificial meat, How can you analyze all these things? How will you analyze all these things? How will you find possibilities there? That is where you have to analyze these things. The entire national political scenario is changing. There is an urban Naidu, there is a rural Nitish, and it's hard for the present central government to ignore the voices of the farmers. There's also the self-reliant food suppliers is another important aspect. It could be a political something that was forced by the evolved political scenario, but still the suppliers, the creators of food has to be will be heard, and that brings us opportunities, because food sufficiency, quality of food, food checking is something that is haunting Kerala, not just the exchequer. The health issues related to poor quality oils and all these things affecting Kerala. And that is where we come back to nature. The vanishing warmth of nature. You must understand that has to be addressed. So, we must talk about possibilities, we must talk about pragmatism. That is what the world is doing. The global alliances, they are more strategic in nature, and they are more sort of products of necessity. Lofty goals, settling down at realistic targets is the norm. So, what that means is that self-reliance, independence, export, imports, mutual relations, they must go hand in hand. At what you say in economics, the opportunity cost. That has to be analyzed and that has to be utilized. That's the global scenario. Because, as we told before, the vanishing warmth of nature is creeping into the soul of tranquility. It's taking toll. The sacrilege of nature is eating into us. It is eating into the soul of social progress. You can no longer go like this. The stop button has to be pressed. So, the central government has settled in, or rather eased into, the realities of coalition politics. They are ready to give up the notion of independence. It's about existence, it's about survival. And that is something that we have to analyze. You cannot go on like this. It's not the fair way, because the sacrilege of hidden norms of nature has quite visible repercussions. Trampled on the tranquility of nature, we men are on the receiving end. We cannot pursue like this. We cannot go on like this. We must move on. Move on realizing that we must embrace change. And this self-reliance has to come in, realizing the possibilities, opportunities, limitations. So that's embrace nature, as we used to usually tell. It's about new norms setting in, and let's settle down with, at, and in reality. Thank you.